Good evening, sir. Joan of Arc.
Brunelleschi, may I help you take off your wrap?
Yes, thank you. You know how being burned at the stake can be.
Buonasera, Maria Montessori, founder of the Montessori educational system.
Welcome. Please join us. We're waiting on one more guest.
Sorry I'm late. I was detained at the hospital with some work. Dr. Joan Salk.
What kind of work do you do in the medical field, Dr. Salk?
I'm a medical researcher.
How fascinating. I attended medical school at the University of Rome and was the first female doctor in Italy.
Really? I went to New York University and studied virology. My main focus was on the influenza virus, but I was actually invited to help find the vaccine to poliomyelitis. I then, after 7 years, switched my focus to the AIDS vaccine.
From one doctor to another, that's very impressive. Other fields of study, such as virology, have always interested me. However, I never really had the opportunity to research anything other than psychiatry.
Well, it seems like the two of you have accomplished quite a lot. It took me more than double the time it took for you to create the polio vaccine for me to build the dome of the Santa Maria del Fiore, which is 386 feet tall.
Wow, that's real dedication.
So, Maria, you were the first female doctor in Italy, right? Well, I was the first woman and youngest person to ever command the armies of a nation.
Yes, I received top marks on my medical exams and did much better than my male classmates. Your accomplishments are remarkable, St. Joan. It's wonderful to see other women breaking their way into a man's world.
So you're saying that women can make contributions to the world? That's a novel concept. I never needed a woman. In fact, I was better off on my own.
That's absurd. Women are just as intelligent, if not more, than men. Every man is better off with a woman by his side.
I agree. Every man needs a woman, but not every woman needs a man. When my lover left me and made me give up our baby boy, it changed my life for the better. The heartbreak helped me transition from the medical field to the educational field, and look where I am now.
Exactly, Maria. However, I was never interested in marital relations. My drive and passion were directed towards my God-given goal. I took a vow of chastity and lived a godly life. After I died, I was canonized.
If you were so godly, why did the English burn you? Clearly you didn't do everything right. I bet a man would have been able to do the job correctly.
It took amazing leadership to command an army full of sexist men. Not everyone has the ability to demand respect and have everyone look to you for orders, but I did. That is a much more useful skill than being able to build a dome.
Excuse me? My dome is the best thing ever built. After it was constructed, it was 186 feet taller than the next tallest dome, and for 450 years, it was the largest dome in the world. It's an architectural marvel, and I don't think you could construct something of that magnitude.
True, I'm not an architect. However, I was capable of leading the French army at the age of 17 without any military training. The impact I made on society benefited people more.
Filippo, St. John, settle down. Both of your accomplishments are impressive, but neither of them actually helped the human cause. Poliomyelitis was a horrendous disease that scared people to death. I was able to come up with a cure that saved people from the fear of paralysis and death.
I agree, Jonas. Their accomplishments didn't benefit anyone. I created schools to educate young children, preparing them for better lives. I showed women everywhere that it is not a man's world, making them believe that anything is possible.
I don't think you guys quite understand the science behind my cupola. I mean, I designed my dome to be twice as tall and nearly twice as wide as the next largest dome, and building the dome took a great understanding of science and math. I don't want to argue with you guys. I just want a little respect.
Okay, I must give you some credit for your scientific mind as a fellow researcher. But is that all you've done, or have you done something other than just some revolutionary math?
I advanced the Renaissance style of architecture in Italy. Also, I was called upon to strategically aid the army, but I never really was good at that.
I excelled at being a leader. At the age of 13, I had visions from saints. I was determined that I had been sent by God to save France by eliminating their enemies and making sure Prince Charles of France took the proper position as king.
Wow, St. Joan, you sound a little crazy. I mean, I was obviously a religious man. I helped build a cathedral. I would never run into battle with a crazy person like you who hears voices.
Well, I did have schizophrenia.
I came across many people who heard voices while working in an asylum. Many of the nurses thought these people were insane. However, I believe that everyone has the ability to learn. That's why I created the Montessori schools.
That's an amazing outlook. What's different about the Montessori schools? Is there some different approach?
Children can use objects from around the classroom to play, learn, and expand their plasticity. Montessori schools are atypical. There are no teachers with lesson plans, just students with open minds who are willing to learn.
It seems like you just give a bunch of inept infants blocks and let them play all day.
Oh, Filippo, don't act like you know so much about education.
As a matter of fact, I did teach in the Arte de Asceta. Giving lectures and teaching my peers earned me quite a deal of respect.
I don't expect you to know much about teaching children since you only worked with adults. Montessori schools go from preschool through high school, and each grade works a little bit different. What may seem like a shaky system to you has shaped some very successful people.
Do not compare my work to the work of some ignorant children. Only a prominent Kapellmeister like myself could erect my superior dome.
Like I said, I don't expect you to know much about teaching children since you only work with adults. Montessori schools are designed for the students based on their interest. If a student has an interest in building a tower with blocks, why should they not be able to? I guess the only difference between you and the preschoolers is that you design the buildings and the preschoolers build them.
Oh, please, do not compare my work to the work of some ignorant children.
The system sounds very hands-on and innovative. I wish I would have been able to go through the system. However, I attended schools that pushed me with 4-year programs being crammed into 3 years.
Why did you do that?
Those were my options as the son of Jewish immigrants. Actually, my parents influenced many of my decisions, including the one for me to go into medicine. I wanted to go in law, personally, but I'm glad that I focused on medicine. I'm fearful to think about what the world would be like without my vaccine. How were you guys educated?
You know, I never really received a great education. I was only educated in mathematics, and later I apprenticed with a master goldsmith. Apprenticing with a master goldsmith encouraged me to pursue art, but I later ditched art for architecture.
Although I was illiterate, I had very big goals and aspirations. I wasn't going to let not having proper schooling stop me from reaching those goals.
Me too. Almost nobody believed that I could build my dome, especially with my innovative methods. It was motivation for me to prove them wrong.
At first, I was denied entry into the University of Rome, which motivated me too, Filippo. After leaving my first interview after being rejected, I said to the professor, "I know I shall become a doctor."
How interesting. All of us had huge goals, but not many supporters. I wish, at least. After poliomyelitis, everyone knew about the Dr. Salk. I wish I could have just retreated back into my laboratory without my name meaning anything. Regardless, it's amazing what some perseverance and hard work can do. Am I right?
Yes, Jonas, you are right. Maria and I faced horrid discrimination which did not slow us down in the slightest, and you and Filippo were able to prove others wrong.
I was very hesitant to share my ideas for the dome with anyone because I was paranoid that someone would steal my ideas. In retrospect, it is hard to believe I got the job considering guild members didn't even know a lot of my plan. I mean, I built the dome with no central support, which was completely unheard of, especially with the other sides of my great dome.
I understand how challenging it can be to do something with no support. I think almost all of us do.
Yes, I was not sure how I would get along with you all, but it is amazing to see what all of us have accomplished.
I guess women can have a positive influence on society.
This has certainly been quite the experience. Unfortunately, I've got to get going if I'm to get some exercise in today. My doctor's been hounding me about my heart health.
I should get going too. It was great to meet all of you. Buena notte.
I'll walk you out. You can tell me more about the Montessori schools.
Well, I guess it's time for me to leave too.
I'll join you.